substitute your lies for fact. I see lies through your plastic Mac. I look all white, but my dad was black. My fine-looking shoes is really made out of sand. Substitute your lies for fact. I see lies through your plastic Mac. I look all white, but my dad was black. My fine-looking shoes is really made out of sand.
Well, thanks for coming, guys. Jane, Sharon, I know you guys are busy, so I appreciate you showing up today. I'm Mr. Burton. I'm the principal here at the school, and today we're going to be going over your IEP for the new school year and make sure you have your academic goals lined up and that your academic goals are aligning with your goals after school. So from what I'm looking at, it looks like you are on course to graduate, so good job on that. So we really want to make sure that you're staying on course to graduate. So real quick, do you want to just go through what your goals are after graduation?
Well, my goals are just to work with kids, do some sort of childcare kind of type stuff because I really like kids.
Okay, awesome. So a lot of the stuff I'm looking at, like your meetings with the career counselor, it shows that you have a propensity towards kids. You're kind, you're empathetic, you're very nurturing. So I think your goals and your personality attributes really align towards what you want to do with your life after school. So we're going to talk about kind of the classes we want to put you into. And your teachers here, Mr. Schneider and Mr. Hofer, are going to go into the goals that they have for their specific classes. So one thing that we want to make sure you are ready to do after you graduate is make sure you're CPR certified. As someone that wants to work with kids, we want to make sure that you can make sure they're safe and in a safe environment. So we're going to get you a CPR certified here in school through your health class.
You can do that here?
We can. It's pretty awesome. It's through her health class. She'll practice CPR on CPR dummies. It's really cool. Another thing we want you to do is do a partnership through the YMCA daycare program to get you some hands-on experience in working with a mentor who's a licensed child care provider. So that will give you some real-world skills and some networking opportunities so when you're done with school. Another thing we want to do is have you mentor a younger student so you can start practicing those skills you learn in your partnership with that mentor student. And finally, we want to enroll you in independent living, so family consumer sciences, personal finances, so you can take all the skills like cooking skills, personal finance skills, and be ready to do that after you graduate.
Yeah, I like those.
Good, I hope you like it. Sharon, do you have any input so far? You good with everything?
Yes, I think I am.
Okay, Mr. Hofer, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so in order to get you to your goals for after school and the career field that you want to do, we have to address some specific needs within my English class. And the two big areas that I want to address is reading and writing. So first in reading, in the English 9 class last year, you received a D in the class, and we want to be able to get that bumped up so you can stay on track to graduate. However, we thought that your issues with English were mainly due to just lack of concentration and focus, turning in assignments on time, not becoming distracted in class, not really so much as not understanding the materials. We think a little bit more focus and redirection will probably get that D up and get you well on your way in English.
And how would that refocusing and redirection happen?
So what we're going to provide first is we're going to have Jane be accompanied by a peer tutor within the English classroom.
Just a tutor.
Yep, so just one of her peers will come in and do work alongside her, help her keep up with her assignments, motivate her, help her stay on track just basically with keeping her assignments in and not becoming so distracted in class.
All right.
Yeah, does that sound like something that you could work with, Jane?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? Okay, good. Also, I have just a couple other things that we wanted to work on just to make sure that you're at grade level within certain areas. So according to your ISAT scores from last year, your reading score was a 202, with your proficient needs to be at 220. So we want to get you to that goal or to that standard. So what we're going to do is have you keep an interactive journal throughout the year. Does that sound all right?
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
What is an interactive journal?
So the interactive journal, what we're going to have her do is she's having a little bit of trouble with some reading comprehension. I think with just her lack of focus in class, just dipped behind a little bit. So the journal just helps her focus in on what we're actually reading within the class, and helps her be able to identify certain themes, maybe words that she's not getting, and also gives her the opportunity and format to ask questions. So within this interactive journal, she'll write a 1-paragraph summary of just the assigned reading that we had for either that class, that the whole class is reading. She'll just write a paragraph summary of it that identifies the main theme or idea, and then uses 2 supporting pieces of evidence from the reading. Also in the journal, she's just going to identify 4 words that she doesn't understand, doesn't really know, and then look up the definition for them. She'll just write them down and then go back and look up the definition of them so she can start to understand a little bit more words and enhance her vocabulary. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, and in that journal too, with each journal entry, you just want her to write a question or 2 that she had about the reading that she can bring to me at any time, and then she can address it in class discussions. Okay. I just want to monitor it bi-weekly, so it's every 2 weeks. On Fridays, she can bring me a journal, I can go through, it's the assigned readings in the class, so I'll know what she's journaled on based on the readings that we've done. Okay?
Okay.
And also, to help you along, we can also provide you with the audiobooks of the assigned readings that we have available through our library.
Audiobooks.
Yeah, so if it's some kids maybe just have a hard time focusing on reading and actually seeing, so we provide audiobooks for her to hear, maybe that might help her with comprehension.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Alright.
Now I understand you also have some writing goals that
Yep.
you want to address?
Yep, and then let me go over my notes for writing. So for writing, we noticed that you struggle a little bit with paragraph structuring. So what we want you to do is we work on argumentative essay throughout the semester. And in that essay, we want you to be able to write 5 paragraphs with an introduction paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And that we can work on together on how to format that and structure that. And then since writing and reading is part of the same class, we can actually use notes and resources from your journal to help you maybe construct an essay.
Okay.
Okay, and also, we want you to, at the end of the semester, turn a 2-page fictional or non-fictional piece of work that contains 3 separate events in a sequence with 3 sentences detailing each event.
Okay.
Did either of you have any questions about the reading or writing goals so far?
No, it just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, but we wouldn't be assigning you this work if we didn't think that you could come up to these goals. So with a little bit of work and your peer tutoring, and I think if you focus in on class a little more with the help of your peer tutor, you should be able to reach these goals.
Okay.
And as we monitor you throughout the semester and we see that you're not meeting these goals or you're not on track to meet these goals, we can adjust them and provide you additional resources to help you meet those goals.
Okay.
Is this extra work more work than what other students are going to have?
So the difference would be is that we're monitoring her progress as a team more closely, whereas the other students don't have, maybe not have more need or have the support that we're showing right here today.
Alright.
Mr. Schneider, would you like to address your math goals for the academic year?
Yes, so one of the things we've seen is that Jane is a bit behind on her math goals, and we don't know if we can get her quite up to 10th grade standards, but we're going to try to get her as ahead as we possibly can and try to meet as advanced standards as we think that she can work her way up to. And one of the things that we think we can do, with your permission, of course, is we want to put her into a special math lab where she will use practical skills, where she'll practice the math skills that she's learning in the classroom in a sort of concrete way, in a way that appeals to her and works towards her interests. Jane, we've seen through your talks with the guidance counselors and through a number of different people that you have kind of this interest in sort of domestic skills. And one of the things, we want to foster that, we want to encourage that, and we want to work towards what you know. And so what we are going to do is we're going to adapt a number of our math standards so that they can be applied in your family and consumer science class. And what I will do as a teacher is I will work up a couple of assignments, maybe 2 each week, that you will use the standards, you'll use the learning standards to work with fractions, to work with multiplication and division. And the specific context we're thinking of, at least at this moment, is that you will use these to bake recipes. You know,
Bake recipes.
yes, baking requires very exact and precise measurements, and if you're going to increase the quantity of something or decrease the quantity of something, you need to use these math skills that Jane's learning in the classroom, and you need to be able to apply them into real life. And so we think that if we can find a practical application for these skills, Jane will connect better with the content. This will be
Okay.
yeah, this will be judged through the, this will be judged by me. I will look at her work. But the family and consumer science teacher will be the one administering the work and directing her baking. And we think that this sort of real world application of skills is what students use. We would do a similar thing with, say, auto mechanics for a student who is interested in that sort of thing. And we think these skills are directly applicable to Jane's future goals and will help her reach the the skills and content standards that she needs to reach, and B, will be useful for her going on after she graduates.
Alright.
Now, you had some specific goals in mind of where she needs to be at, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
So,
I'm sorry, Mr. Snyder, but could we speed things up a little bit? I need to get Jane home so then I can get to my night shift.
Yeah, we're almost done. So
we're
we'll hurry this
almost
up.
there. So, what I would say is that what she's doing in the facts class will augment what she's doing in the general ed class. Specifically speaking, we want her to be able to convert 20 problems with about 75% accuracy so that she's at least up to a C and up to passing and can pass through the school. When she's able to do that, then we'll know that she's met the goals that we intended for her to meet. And in order to monitor her overall progress, we'll be giving her an ISAT practice test quarterly, which we will want to pick the problems that align with the content standards that we're testing. And if she can meet those with 75% accuracy, then we'll adjust and maybe loosen some of the adaptations and goals that we have.
All right. Is there any other questions you guys have before I go on to the accommodations real quick?
No.
All right, so I'll just do these real quick so you two can get out of here. Now for the math class, the accommodations are simply using a calculator, and for the fractions and the family consumer science class, we do want you to use some measuring cups that will help you measure out recipes and help you drop down to and make recipes bigger for different serving sizes. And for English and writing class, we want you to have access to headphones and audiobooks, and as well as the peer tutor. So those are essentially the accommodations that we're going to have you use, and we'll monitor your progress, and if you're not showing enough progress, then we can add more accommodations as necessary. Was there any questions you two had before we conclude our meeting today?
No, that works for me.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Substitute your lies for fact. I see right through your plastic Mac. I look all white.